What's up? It's Eden, and this is what I read this week. Hello and welcome to What I Read This Week. This is the corner where I talk about books. Now I'm so sorry about the weird name. The books that I talk about here are not necessarily books that I read this week, but I was so eager to start this corner and I thought, oh well, let's just roll with it. Of course, if you have any other ideas, you can let me know down below and we can choose a new name as a community. So before I start to mumble on irrelevant topics, let's jump right in. Down, down, down. Would the fall never end? For nearly 2 centuries, we've all been falling for Alice and her wild adventures in Wonderland. And much like her fall down the rabbit hole, it seems like this fall is never ending as well. The fictional Alice has been through a lot in the novel, and her character has been dissected in countless ways. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland has kept critics, scholars, and both kids and adults entertained and still leaving its mark on popular culture today. You've got movies, plays, songs giving nods to the story, and phrases like down the rabbit hole becoming part of our everyday language. So Alice and her escapades are, with no doubt, iconic. So in this video, we'll chat about what the book's all about. I'll give you just a quick rundown to get us started and on the same page. I'm also thinking about making a part 2 of this video, exploring the theme of time in the book, but I'm not sure about it, so we'll see how that goes. But here's the deal. I'll assume you either read the book or in the process of reading it, because I'm about to dive deep into my take on Alice's character and throw in some references to scenes, assuming you are right there with me. Is that okay? Right, so let's dive in. Lewis Carroll's masterpiece, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, was published in 1865, right in the middle of what they call the golden age of children's lit. Now, this book has earned its stripes, being one of the most quoted English texts of all time, according to Hugh Houghton, putting it right there with the Bible and Shakespeare. Now, this book, alongside with other books in that era, seemed to flip the script on children's lit, trading in the education angle for pure entertainment. Now, let's talk about the story itself. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is, in short, a trippy dream. Now imagine this, a 7-year-old girl, Alice, chilling by the riverbank. She gets bored, takes a nap, and bam, she's in Wonderland. A total carnival of weirdness. There, she meets characters like the Cheshire Cat, the Mad Hatter, and Queen of Hearts, all super peculiar. Now, as Alice navigates through this curious world, she finds herself in seriously bizarre situations and takes us with her on this crazy ride that messes with the rules of reality, packed with surprises, whimsical moments, and tons of self-discovery for Alice. Since the story is dreamlike, you get a cool mix of fantasy and satire, leaving you with a timeless tale to dive into, making you ponder about imagination and self-discovery. As we roll through the novel, Alice has this constant identity crisis, wondering, who in the world am I? And the Wonderland crew, like the rabbit, the pigeon, the caterpillar, can't quite figure her out either, and mistaking her for everything from a servant to a serpent. Now, many critics jump into Alice's analysis pool. Nina Orbach, for example, sees Alice as a mix of good and evil, a combo of purity and subversive power. She juxtaposes her to a fallen woman, which is an archaic term to describe a woman who has lost her innocence, and says that the hidden power of the seemingly inviolate Alice aligns her with the popular Victorian descendant of Pandora and Eve, and calls her a creature of curiosity and appetite, basically suggesting that Alice is a seductive, manipulative creature with the power to unleash hell on earth and the source of all evil. Then Anne Lawson Lucas takes it a step further, calling Alice a non-model child who is a bit rude by regular standards and showing zero respect for her elders. Lucas depicts Alice as this intellectual rebel, with a scholar's intellect in the making, turning both Alice and the young readers into opinionated, doubting rebels. Now, more critics joined the party, but perhaps towering over all these theories in the amount of destructive power and malintent it endows Alice with is the analysis of Alice's character as an invading monster disrupting a warm and happy world. It seems that everyone's on the same page here, seeing Alice as anything but a pure angelic child. I read this book so many times and I'm questioning if these theories add up. My take on this: Alice is merely a developing child. Thus, labeling her as an imperialist feels a bit too harsh. Maybe we should cut her some slack, you know? The evidence of her being an imperialist invader is, at best, up for interpretation. So why not rewind and see Alice as a child again, with eyes bright and eager, and a simple and loving heart, with simple sorrows and simple joys? Perhaps that would be a better reflection of Alice's character and more in line with the narrator's initial intentions. Little coffee break. My friend got this mug for me in Chile and I love it. I love the size, the colors, everything. Hopefully you have something to drink as well, because I'm about to give you 4 main ideas that might support this suggestion. Okay, so let's dive into why Alice might not be the imperialist troublemaker everyone's labeling her as. First off, her imperialistic antics are wrapped up in the context of a dream. Now, the dream might be painting her in a bad light because she's throwing shade at the Wonderland crew. But hang on a second. The psychologist William Damove and his theory about dreaming suggests that dreams are a reflection of our waking thoughts, experiences, and emotions. Damove emphasizes that dreams are not random or mysterious. Instead, they are influenced by our daily lives. And based on this theory, Kelly Bulkley analyzes Alice's adventures in Wonderland and says that because dreams are our waking thoughts and emotions going wild, it is more likely to dream of things going wrong than things going right. So when Alice is criticized for being rude or impolite, perhaps she is rude and impolite just because it is in a frame of a dream. And in a dream, the moral rules governing our behavior in waking life are suspended. Also, in her dream, Alice has been courageously rude to the population of Wonderland, but she doesn't carry this behavior into her real life. A quick example of this is after Alice wakes up and spills the tea on Wonderland to her sister. Her sister, in a smooth transition back to reality, says, "Now run into your tea." And boom, Alice, the model child, is up and running without a fuss. So dreams act as a form of escapism from the moral rules of the waking world. Not saying those rules are bad, but hey, we all wrestle with them. Dreams let us grapple with the messy stuff. And maybe that's what Wonderland was for Alice. A mental playground for her to make sense of the rules she faces when she's wide awake. Now, if you don't want to analyze Alice in the context of a dream, then Alice is actually a survivor. And she does what she needs to survive Wonderland. She's not just sipping tea with the Mad Hatter. She's facing downright bizarre situations. Naomi Wood even points out that Alice's dream is even a bit of a nightmare, especially when she experiences all these weird physical changes. From shrinking so fast, she wonders if she'll vanish, trying not to drown in her own pool of tears, being trapped in a small house when she's too big, you name it. The population in Wonderland is afraid of her or angry with her, and so she's constantly in a place where she needs to be defensive. Now, to add more struggle to the pot, Alice is going solo in Wonderland, and it's no walk in the park. I am so very tired of being all alone here, she says. Now, Alice tries to decipher Wonderland's behaviors and rituals using her own logic and her own set of tools. And yes, it's a bit limited because she's a child. According to Piaget's theory, that's what kids do. They try to make sense of their world by giving meaning to everything around them. Though this is natural, this is not easy, especially not for Alice. In her chat with the caterpillar, for example, she pleads in a poor, piteous tone, but I'm not used to it. The Med Tea Party, she finds herself dreadfully puzzled and constantly confused and all over the place. She craves understanding, but ends up drowning in a sea of confusion, frustration, and misunderstandings. So yeah, give her some slack. Surviving Wonderland, it's not easy. And some of her behaviors are a result of her trying to survive. The third idea is that Alice is on a journey of self-discovery in Wonderland. She's not just wandering around, she's getting real about who she is and learning from her mistakes. She's someone who's always reflecting on life, learning from her slip-ups and trying to be a better version of herself every single time. She's got this conscious thing going on. She's always pondering, who am I? And wondering if all those crazy size-changing events changed her. We get a front row seat to her thoughts. And it's like peeking into a real kid's mind, seeing that she's dealing with genuine thoughts and feelings, contemplating her actions and adjusting her behaviors accordingly. Take her chat with the caterpillar, for example. First time around, she messes up, interrupting the caterpillar's hookah time. But the second time, she learned. And the narrator tells us Alice waited patiently until he chose to speak again. Then there's the Mad Tea Party drama. Alice offends the dormouse once. And you bet she's not pulling that move again. Alice did not wish to offend the dormouse again. It's like she learns a life lesson in every encounter she has. Naomi Wood is on board, pointing out that Alice is a quick learner, evolving and tweaking her behavior as she goes along. So no imperialistic vibes here, just Alice being a kid on a path of self-discovery. Now let's talk about curiosity, that nosy thing that makes Alice, well, Alice. It's like her superpower driving all her adventures in Wonderland. Bulkley even says it's the thing that defines her the most. Carroll, in his journal, high-fives curiosity, thinking it's a crucial part of being a kid. He described his dream child as loving and gentle, wildly curious with the eager enjoyment of life that comes only in the happy hours of childhood. Piaget thinks the same and believes that curiosity is crucial for the cognitive development of children. He's all about kids learning when their curiosity is left hanging, not when it's served on a silver platter. He thinks it's better if caregivers keep children's wonder alive, throw them some mind-bending challenges, and don't just dump information on them. So Alice's curiosity, totally normal and awesome, and that should be encouraged, nothing invader-ish about it. So, wrapping things up, Orbach throws down the idea that Carroll's Alice is either a meta-assault on or a profound appreciation of the integrity of female childhood. Our perspective depends upon who we are. Sort of, it's a wild attack or a big hug on this whole concept of girlhood. I'm rolling with the hug, aiming to revive the innocent Alice from the 30s. Back then, according to Orbach, they were selling Alice as a poster child for pure and innocence. Alice's biggest sin? Just being a kid and acting like one. And if Alice is, at her core, just a kiddo, then maybe we should embrace Gertrude Stein's mantra, a child is a child is a child is a child. No need to overcomplicate this. As a child, she's got one-size-fits-all personality with curiosity, playfulness, and a dash of egocentrism, just like Piaget suggests a child should be. We need to idolize her for being smart, learning from her mistakes and showing growth. Perhaps it's best to listen to Alice when she says, "I'm a little girl," and not make the same assumptions the population in Wonderland kept making. In the 21st century, there is a better concept of what a child really is. And with this modern understanding, it is possible perhaps to look back at this Victorian child and see her for what she is, a child, and just let her be. Let me know in the comments what's your take on this and how you view Alice's character. Also, please let me know if there's a book you want me to cover next. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, all the best for you. Bye!